So let's turn our attention to a client story. Can you share an example of a client that you worked with recently, one that stands out for you? And you think about when you got started, what was the challenge or opportunity they were facing when you first started with them?
Yeah, I can think of just a recent client that actually we just completed the coaching engagement, and he was a president of a global division of a consumer products company. And his situation was he was just coming back from a medical leave. And in his role as president, he was driving a very large transformation of his business that was going to happen pretty quickly. And my role was to provide him both coaching as he kind of re-entered the workforce after his medical leave, making sure that he really wanted to focus on his stress levels, as well as helping to support him in that transformation.
Okay. So if as you were listening to him and understanding his challenges, what coaching approaches did you use to help him?
Well, a couple different approaches. First of all, I had worked with the CHRO who had been doing some coaching with him to get some background. He also had attended a leadership conference where they did some assessments, personality assessments. So I had that as background. And then I also did some interview 360s to kind of get an additional perspective. But then when we started working together, the main thing that I was focused on, because again, his help, I was helping him in the transformation. And the two areas that he was really struggling with was on delegation as well as having difficult discussions. And so the way that I worked with him is we really began to focus on the why. Why was he struggling in those areas? And what we uncovered and what we spent time on were what were his limiting beliefs. And based on those limiting beliefs, I worked with him to help reframe them and use a series of techniques that he really role played with me to help him get more comfortable using some of the tools and trying out different approaches.
So it sounds like he made some positive changes. Can you describe those? And then how did those changes impact the organization?
Yeah, so the biggest changes that he made was really realizing that, first of all, his struggle with delegation had to do with his confidence. He had been in a role where he was in research. He headed research for this company, and this was his first role as president and leading different functions. And what he came to realize is his need for having to control things and not delegate was around his lack of confidence, and that he felt like he needed to learn and hold on to things to be able to learn and build his confidence. And so what he realized was that the exact opposite really was true, that once he started delegating and rolling his team, he began to learn a lot more. He began to build his confidence, and he began to empower his team to be able to get done what they needed to get done in the transformation as well. And then relative to having difficult discussions, we practiced again how to approach the discussions. And what he realized again was that not having those discussions was really doing more harm for the people than helping them. And so again, when he saw and practiced in the role play and then actually did it live, he realized how much improvement he could make in his team's collaboration. And he was also able to make decisions a lot quicker because he wasn't as worried about, having those tough discussions. So he was more readily able to make the decisions that he needed to make in a quicker manner.